Hi everybody, welcome to episode number 2. I am with Coach Beuster from Lindenwood University, head assistant coach and recruiting coordinator. Coach, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Lindenwood's coming off of a big year. They just made your first playoff appearance in the MIAA. Explain what is the philosophy? How did you guys get to that point? Because I know you've only been in Division II baseball for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
So could you expound on that?
It was, I'd say it's something that's been kind of in the works and developing over time. The transition process for us from NAIA to NCAA Division II, I think just took a little bit longer than what we thought it was. And I think what you saw last year was our first group of NCAA recruits developing and maturing into frontline NCAA Division II type players. And so I think it kind of affirmed a lot of our beliefs that we can build a program predominantly through high school players and development, and it was exciting to see, and it's exciting moving forward with the core nucleus we have back.
I mean, it's kind of a tough little gig. Like you go from NAIA Division II, very successful program at the NAIA level, I mean, very well known, and then you go to Division II, and then you get thrown into one of the best conferences in the United States when it comes to Division II baseball. I mean, I've always said MIAA is almost like the SEC of Division II. I mean, playing those guys going from playing Culver Stockton to UCM, University of Central Missouri. What's that like?
It's exciting. It's an opportunity, and I think that's the way that we look at it. It's you don't have to go too far to know where you stand on a national level with elite competition, and that's ultimately what shapes your program and defines you. And so it simplifies recruiting because you live it every day in the MIAA in terms of having to understand what a frontline player is, the skill set that's necessary, the size, the athleticism, all of those things. So it's exciting, and it's a great opportunity that we have week in, week out in the MIAA for sure.
And head coach Bletcher, you've been with him for 9 years now? Because you were a player with him, and then you came as a graduate assistant when he moved over here to Lindenwood, and then he brought you back on as an assistant coach. Explain. You've been here for 9 years. Your nucleus is pretty solid, and leadership is at the top level. I mean, what is that like having that coaching staff pretty cohesive?
It's a lot of fun. It really is, and I think it's a neat experience anytime that you get to go back and work for a guy that you play for and implement a system. And I think ultimately it strengthens our program and the system from within. So we have the perspective of that coach developed within his program and how he implemented it. And then I think it's neat to have the standpoint of somebody that lived the program every day and then seeing it have an opportunity coming back from a player's perspective and now in a coach's role and do it. So it's really great because it seems like we're on the same page quite a bit. There's not necessarily a lot of conversations that have to happen between the two of us, and we both know that right where the other one is and can pick up and lead off and exactly what it is we're looking for.
Well, I mean, what you guys have done so far, I mean, looking at this clubhouse that we're in right now, it's unbelievable. I went to Missouri State University, and this is by far gets pretty close to that. I mean, it feels like a Division I type of feel, and what you guys done so far in building this thing, it's been unbelievable.
Thank you, and I think Coach Bletcher deserves all the credit on that. And the one thing that he has is a great vision, and that's for the facilities that he wants and where they're going to go. And he's not even done with what he wants to do down at the field. I think we already have a pretty good facility.
Well, and you guys are hosting the MIAA conference tournament, which is for the first time in, I don't know, a decade for them to move it outside of a centralized location. You're actually going to a host. Did you have to put out a bid for that, or was it what was it?
There was a bid process, and there were certain specifications that you had to have in order to be able to even put the bid in. So one of them was a turf facility, lights, enough seating. You had to be in a big enough metropolitan area that you could host 7 other teams coming in. So we went through the bidding process.
Yeah.
And, we're excited to have it, and you know, it's a great roadmap for our guys because that's where, you know, the postseason is going to begin.
And having that in St. Louis is going to be unbelievable for just the St. Charles area, but the St. Louis area, because I mean that's a pretty big tournament. You got a lot of big boys coming in town, and you got some high prospect coming in. I mean, Lindenwood's got some prospects. You have Brendan Claycamp. Then you have that draft pick that's staying here. So I mean, there's going to be some high profile guys.
Absolutely, and you know, I think last year our league had a half dozen guys that went in the draft.
Wow.
So for Division II, I think that's relatively high, especially for Midwest, and I think it'll be in that range again this year. From what I see, the league's just as deep as it was, and it's going to be a good opportunity, like you said, for people from St. Louis to come out and see quality play and an extremely high level of baseball.
And let's kind of go down the route of the recruiting end of things, because Lindenwood is a private university. It's a lot different than the state schools. So we briefly talked about it off camera on what kind of person that you're looking for, what type of athlete you're looking for. Like what is it? Because I mean, it is a private institution.
Absolutely, that's a great observation.
Yeah.
We're in the sea of state schools as a private institution, and it's a completely different monster, and it's a great monster.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, and we don't view it as any sort of hindrance.
Oh, it's not a
hindrance
hindrance because the education is really, really good. But I mean, for the student athlete, you kind of have to find that. It's kind of like the different schools outside of the state schools with the Division I level. It's just a different beast altogether.
Absolutely, we're certainly a lot more academic minded. And I think, you know, when we go to showcases, we go to events, we do things. Maybe our recruitment doesn't begin when you see that premier guy and his academics aren't where it is. We start maybe on the reverse side. First thing we do is we look at a guy's academics, and then we work off that. And I think that tells a lot of the story for us recruiting. So it simplifies our market, and I think it allows us to zero in on a smaller group of people and make sure we're right, if that makes sense. Like we've narrowed our scope. We try and start in St. Louis recruiting wise, and I think if you look at, we have 5 early signees right now, and all 5 of them are from within an hour of the St. Louis area. And so we got a handle on St. Louis, and the other area that we zero in on is Kansas City, and that's because the MIAA is a Kansas City-based league. It's a great opportunity for us to go in other schools' backyards, know the market out there and who we're going up against, but then also offer, you know, young men from Kansas City the opportunity to have a great experience playing against their friends, playing in front of their family a little bit more, with all but 3 schools in our league being within 3 hours of their family.
Well, I mean, when a guy from out of state, or even from Kansas City, and they come in and they might have not heard about Lindenwood, they might have heard it off in the distance, just kind of, they've heard it at some point, but when they see the campus, like we were driving on today, and we're like, holy smokes, these buildings are huge. It's like being on the campus of Mizzou or being on the campus of Missouri State. I mean, the campus is absolutely huge. I mean, the recruiting tool has to be fantastic for you guys on that end.
Absolutely, and you know, we offer a great product here, and like you said, we love the wow factor when we do bring guys in on campus, especially from outside the area that might not have played here, or even the guys that do play here. As you guys know, so many of these tournaments, you come in and you play at one site, and you got to rush off to the next one, and so you might just come down First Capital and just go to the baseball field and kind of have that tunnel vision. And so we love the wow factor. And what it does is it allows us to let the product sell itself. And so I think our recruiting visits, when we have families in, take on a little bit different meaning, because we're not selling them on our product here. We're having a conversation with them, and we're getting to know them, and they're getting to know us as a coaching staff and who we are as people. And I think it makes the recruiting process a little bit more genuine, and I think it gives us a lot better idea of the player that we're getting into, and if they're going to fit the culture that we have here, and where we're trying to go. And so it's awesome.
Now, in these episodes, I try to get a little touch on the recruiting end because I know the game has changed since from 1990 to 2000 to 2010, and it's starting to get to that extra echelon. How do you guys use the internet? Do you use it a lot for videos, for social media? Do you use that to find guys, or is it still going back to the grassroots of I'm networking with the scouts, I'm trying to see what they see? How's that?
Well, I think absolutely the internet has changed recruiting. We use the internet quite a bit, and I would say to do a lot of the groundwork for it in terms of websites that are out there, organizational websites that put video or profiles on there, and it just gives us an idea before we go.
Yeah.
And it certainly helps. And we take a look at all the videos that get sent to us, and try and formulate a quick decision on if we're going to even go out and see that guy. Not necessarily if we're going to recruit.
So it's a starting point. It's a good starting point for you guys.
Absolutely, and I think one of the biggest things you hit on there was the social media aspect of it, and just how a young man conducts himself. And
because I know that Lindenwood has a Twitter handle. I know that you're on Twitter. I know that we just had Coach Gutton on last episode. He says he's on Twitter as well. So it seems like that's where a lot of the coaches are going. It seems like that's where all the new age coaches are going as well, because one, it gives them an insight on the actual person. And I always say that social media amplifies who you are as a person. It seems like that's what the coaches are using for, not necessarily getting them see what their tools are, but just see what kind of person they are. Is this guy going to fit in this clubhouse?
Absolutely. I don't know of a coach that has gone out and signed a guy from what is said on his Twitter or his Facebook or social media, but I know of a coach. I know of several coaches, and including ourselves, that have crossed young men off the list because of the pictures, what they say, or the statements that they make.
I mean, it could also help you if you think about it, because if you're just a guy that is always talking and being positive and having good aspirations, and I mean, he's doing charity events, I mean, that could play a factor as well. I mean, it's not just bad things; it could be good things as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, with the program, what are most of the majors here? Like, most of the guys at the Lindenwood University, on the baseball team, what college program do they usually go into?
The majority of our players, and this fits with our institution, are business majors of some sort, whether it's marketing, management, sports management, accounting. The majority of our players fit into the business realm. Outside of that, the majors within Lindenwood that are continuing to grow and climb, the hottest is probably exercise science. Anything in that field. It seems like more and more players every year are doing that. The school just put several million into developing our exercise science facilities, resources, and even the curriculum for it. So those two, and then I would say outside of that, education those are kind of the top three here on campus.
What do you guys feel about showcases and tournaments that you guys go to? Like, are showcases at the high priority? They have to go to a showcase, or they have to be on a tournament team, or they can just be on the local legion? Like, what is it?
That's a good question. We, being a non-Division I, we certainly appreciate the showcases. I think more than the Division I schools do, just in terms of getting to see an overall large amount of guys in time, in a short amount of time. But for us, that's mainly just to kind of see some of those tools that don't necessarily come out in the game when you go to watch a center fielder and he has 0 balls hit to him, or that we put a kid at third base that we'd had in the outfield all fall, put him there 2 games and he didn't have 1 ball hit to him. So it allows us to do that. And then I think so we definitely do like the showcases and go to quite a bit of them. And then I think, to answer your question outside of that, it's guys that play the most competitive level of baseball that they can.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, that's what we want from them, and that's what I guess.
You want to see them be tested. I mean, it really is. I mean, if you see a guy goes 5 for 5 against someone that's throwing 75, that's great. You win 5 for 5. But what about if you go against 91, 92? So you guys are going to face that. That's one misconception about Division II baseball. They're not facing 90 minutes. No, you got some big boys. You got some guys that can run it up there. I mean, you guys had 2 draft picks this last year. So, I mean, they're not drafting 85. They're drafting those 91, 92. If you can bump up to 95 type of guys, I mean, it's good baseball. It's competitive. I mean, MIAA is the SEC. An example, I mean, you had Truman that just went outside of the conference. It's hard to get out of the conference. And they got to the World Series. So, I mean, it's very, very interesting. So, how does the team look for the 2016 season?
We like our team a lot. We feel that in the offseason, through the recruiting process, we were able to address the needs that we had immediately. And then we felt like we also built for the future with our past recruiting class as well. So this year, I think we're going to be a little bit more pitching oriented than we were last year. And that's mainly the depth portion of it. I think we had some good frontline arms last year, as you indicated, 2 of them went in the draft. We just had injuries and we didn't have the depth to handle those injuries. I think this year we've kind of built in that if something happens, we're going to be able to get the next guy up and have a really deep team. So I think most importantly, the talent's there, but on top of that, we have great continuity. We have great team chemistry this year. The guys really seem to have that it factor, I guess you would say.
Well, I mean, it's impressive because, I mean, you guys have only been in Division II for 3 years and you guys already made a playoff appearance. It's very, very impressive. So, I mean, I'm very excited because I love what you guys do here. I'm very excited to see what happens in the 2016 season. Where's the first opening?
We're going to open up here February 5th against Harris Stowe.
Okay.
And then we'll play a single 9 on Friday and Saturday with them. And then we'll head down to Memphis, Tennessee as kind of our first opener that we get away and play Christian Brothers.
Like normal, guys, I will post their schedule in the comments below, as well as the actual Lindenwood baseball Twitter handle. And do you guys have a Facebook page, or is it?
We do not.
No Facebook page, so we won't put the Facebook page up. And yeah, we'll go from there. Is there anything that you'd like to add in on that?
I appreciate you guys having, taking the time to come in and see our facilities and talk a little bit about our program. And as you had indicated, we're just thrilled with the direction we're going and excited to see what 2016 and further has in store for us.
Yeah. I might put in the editing, put some of the scenes from the clubhouse. I know that they're very proud of it. And some of the scenes outside the clubhouse as well on the field too. So it'll be good. So. Coach, thanks again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, again, schedule's down below. Check it out. Also, the MIAA championships will be here in St. Louis, so must see baseball. Until next time, see you guys.